Friendly handshakes. The US president welcomes the German Chancellor in their first meeting at the White House. But not quite so touchy-feely on the trade front, as Donald Trump makes it clear he wants free but fair trade. And Angela Merkel wants deals benefiting both sides. One big happy family, the world's financial elite, finance ministers and central bankers of the world's top 20 economies are meeting in a German spa town. But don't expect any relaxation. Protectionism, trade tensions and cybercrime dominate the world's agenda. And we'll bring you up to date with what's been happening or not on the markets. Hello, welcome to the programme. Well, in his first meeting with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Trump has set out his desire for free but fair trade to bring jobs back to America. The US president welcomed the German Chancellor Angela Merkel to the White House on Friday, both leaders looking for some common ground whilst making their differences known.
First of all, I don't believe in an isolationist policy, but I also believe a policy of trade should be a fair policy. And the United States has been treated very, very unfairly by many countries over the years, and that's going to stop. But I'm not an isolationist. I'm a free trader, but I'm also a fair trader.
So that was what Donald Trump had to say. What about the German Chancellor? She said, Angela Merkel, that free trade deals had faced opposition in her country too.
Aber es geht darum, ist es zum Wohle?
Let me be very honest, very candid. A free trade agreement with the United States of America has not always been all that popular in Germany either. There have been less demonstrations against this free trade agreement in the United States than in Europe and also in Germany. So I'm very glad to note that apparently the sort of perspective on that has changed a little bit, at least in Germany.
Angela Merkel. So the leaders of two of the world's top economies looking for compromise but laying out their priorities. This meeting is of course important, and it could help determine the future of the transatlantic alliance and shape the working relationship between two of the world's most powerful leaders. President Trump and Chancellor Merkel managed a warm handshake outside the White House, but the two are still some distance apart when it comes to trade, with the US president warning he expected relations with Berlin to feature fair and reciprocal trade policies. In terms of exports, last year the US sold $49 billion worth of goods to Germany. But goods worth twice that, $114 billion, went the other way, from Germany to America. Germany's trade surplus with the US has been a source of tension between Washington and Berlin. And President Trump says if the German car maker BMW starts making cars in Mexico, he will impose a 35% border tax on vehicles that cross the border into America. While one of Trump's most senior trade advisors accused Germany of manipulating currencies, using a weak euro to exploit its trading partners. So some underlying tensions there. Joining me now is Cohen, who is Senior Fellow for the Atlantic Council in Washington. Welcome to the programme. So where is their common ground here? Trump is clearly focused on this idea of the trade deficit. Is it particularly relevant?
Absolutely. For Trump and for Trump political base, it's very relevant. After all, the U.S. deficit in trade with Germany is 40%. It's huge. So we are at $64 billion deficit. It means that the Germans have jobs and the United States does not in this trade imbalance. But beyond that, U.S.-German relationship is probably the defining relationship between the U.S. and Europe. Germany is the leading European power. It is absolutely crucial. It's vital in building a united front of the Western powers vis-à-vis Putin's Russia. Ms. Merkel is a stalwart of transatlantic security. She's been in power for 16 years. She met Putin many times, and she speaks Russian because she's from East Germany. So both strategically and economically, this is an absolutely vital relationship for the United States.
Right, okay, so how can they address this? If the trade balance is at the centre of this, how do you address that?
One proposal that I made in my recent piece for the Atlantic Council and for Huffington Post is that Germany expands its military equipment purchases in the United States, killing two birds with one stone. Frau Merkel admitted that Germany needs to do more to bring its GDP to 2%, its military expenditure to 2% of its GDP. They did not do that yet. By purchasing American airplanes and American military systems, Germany could increase its military budget, strengthen NATO, and at the same time improve the trade imbalance that is irking Mr. Trump so much.
OK, so it could do that, but the Germans are famous for keeping the purse strings tight, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. And that's what gives Germany such a glorious economic situation right now, with trade surpluses, with massive currency reserves, with very low unemployment. And that policy actually hurts other European partners of Germany, and the euro is being
yeah, let me come to the, if I may, mention the currency. Germany, of course, does benefit, it is true, from its currency being artificially low because it's part of the eurozone. Not much can be done about that, though.
Well, yes and no. After all, the European Central Bank, ECB, is in Frankfurt, and the Germans are amply represented there, and politicians know how to pull strings. Having said that, there's no formal way the German politicians can dictate the exchange rate, but in terms of financial policy of Germany and of other Eurozone countries, they could have done more, and the continuous irritation of the current U.S. administration, the concern about the jobs, are casting a shadow over otherwise absolutely vital relationships.
Ariel Cohen, thank you very much indeed.